Hello, guys. Welcome back.
Welcome in, you guys.
I'm Cindy.
And I'm Paige.
This is Mom's the Word, where Mom knows best.
Or at least she is trying her best.
We are.
This time, we're going to do things a little bit differently,
That's
okay?
right.
We are all coming fresh off of the vacation, okay?
Yes, we are.
We just need a little bit of a break. And we thought, why not just have Jay here the whole time?
Yes. So this episode, we did ask some questions or took a poll online. Yeah, Jay, say hi to them.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And we wanted Jay's perspective. We want Ben's perspective. So we're just going to have us
Ben
all.
a microphone this
We're all
time.
going to be here.
I have a microphone. Be warned.
Be nice. And we love Ben.
We do love Ben.
So.
Sometimes.
So on Instagram, we took a couple polls, and these were just topics that are heavier topics for some people.
Some
And
would
so
say
you can
controversial.
You can lean one way really heavy or the other. So we went that way.
We looked at each other like,
We know the questions. And so also we know that there's middle ground on all of these questions, but we just wanted to give just a this or that.
nothing is black and white. And I think that you'll see that by our explanations of where we sit or where we agree with most, that even our decisions aren't black and white.
Yeah, because some have changed. Some are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things is that what you might have thought a couple of years ago, you can completely
Absolutely.
change. There's so many things,
Yes.
Yep.
especially the topics that we picked. I mean, I'm sure in some of those topics, your opinion has changed on those.
Yeah, child to child and
We've
everything.
talked about that before,
Yes.
about how, like, don't quote me today saying that this is how she'll feel forever, because
Exactly.
you
Yep.
learn and evolve.
People are constantly changing, constantly evolving, and I mean, hopefully you're in a growth mindset. That's a work
right.
term, but in a growth mindset to say,
That's a
things
wonderful
can
way to
change,
put it.
Things can evolve, right? And if I learn something new or see something different, I'm open to that and see
Yeah.
how it goes.
Yep.
And so I
Absolutely.
think that's super important in anything in life, to have a growth mindset to say, oh, okay.
That's right.
Someone does it a little bit different. Oh, let me learn from that and see if I can apply some of that into what I believe or what I do.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And parenting is not black and white.
No.
No.
It's been different for every single child that I've had. And we all have a lot of kids here together.
Yeah, we do. Together, how many kids do we have? 9?
12.
12.
What about Ben?
Oh, well, 18.
No. Okay. So we've got 5, and then by the time this episode airs, David will have been.
Congratulations.
My baby, whose name we're gonna bleep, will have been born. And well, no, I don't have to bleep it because
No,
he's born.
he's born.
Wow, the future's awesome. Yeah. So we'll have 6.
I have
That's
her.
18.
The 11.
Three.
Oh my God.
I'm telling y'all, it's 18.
I don't math,
5,
so I believe whatever she's
4, 3, 6.
18.
I think it's such a short career. I think it's amazing, obviously, if y'all listen to the other episodes, that you're counting in your
My children's?
children.
Oh, my 2 older
Your
babies.
2 older babies.
I could
what
simply
'Cause if you
not be
see
a mother
earlier when
without
I
it.
said you have 2, I counted 2. But then I'm like, no, I need to count 4.
4.
So that's amazing.
I got 2 big heads.
Oh goodness! So let's get into this poll, okay?
Please.
So I'm going to tell you what how it went.
Your microphone.
This one's getting loose. Hold on.
Just put it straight.
We don't want anything
There we go.
loose.
All right. So we're going to do the poll. I'm going to tell you what it said on Instagram, and then we can all voice our opinions if we want to. It's going to be short, long, whatever. So first poll was home birth versus hospital births. So this was actually like an outstanding difference. So 95% of people said hospital birth, and then a small percentage of 5% said home births. That sounds pretty accurate to me.
I wonder how many of these people are like, oh, I had a hospital birth versus I had a home birth versus the would you do either.
Right.
Because that could be a poll of like, oh, well, I had a hospital birth, which me personally, my personal opinion, I could not do a home birth. I know for a fact that my anxiety simply could not survive it. I think it's beautiful.
It is
I think it's
beautiful.
powerful. I think it's one of the coolest things I've ever witnessed. I have friends who've done it. I've
So
seen their
cool.
videos. I think it's so freaking cool. I think me and God knew I was going to need the epidural, and that's why I was born in this generation, because I could
wants
not.
the medicine.
I needed the meds, okay, and as well as I had complications. I was high risk in some places. I wanted to be able to hear my baby's heartbeat, know that they were there, and you know what? That's not to say that maybe home births do. I don't know. I've never had one.
Right.
I'm not against it, but I know for myself, my own personal journey,
Yes.
I'm not strong enough for that. More power to you if you are, but I know I'm a weak bitch. Okay.
I've only had one hospital birth, and I didn't even think of an option then, if I'm being quite honest with
Right.
y'all.
A lot of the times it feels like there's not.
I just went for it. Ben, are you doing a hospital birth?
So I will have gone around the world when it comes to birthing, minus home birth. So we haven't done home birth.
Okay.
My ex-wife and I, we had 2 in the hospital. The third we had at Allen Birthing Center. And I will always say, like, I don't care. I just want the baby to be healthy.
Right.
If I had to choose, though, the birthing center was amazing. It was the best experience of my life. We went when we were ready. My ex-wife was able to labor however she wanted. She got in the tub, and
That's awesome.
she like turned into an animal. She just she just went instinct, and she was like rotating, and she wasn't really communicating in English, but she just like did exactly what she needed to do. And then she was like, I want to go to the bed. And then 10 minutes later, Henry was in the world. And then I went and got Torchy's tacos like 20 minutes after that.
That's awesome.
So, but Amanda and I will have done a C-section. And
Okay.
I'm assuming that future Ben, I hope you didn't pass out. I'm not squeamish, but yeah, I wish, I've never done a home birth. I think that might be a little too scary for me, but a birthing center, I think, is like
It's
the
intimidating.
great middle ground right there.
Oh, birthing center sounds wonderful.
Yeah, that does sound wonderful.
I'm going to plug Allen Birthing Center. They did
Because they were great.
amazing.
Only because they were great. Okay, so this one surprises me about how close it is, like 50-50. This is co-sleeping with your kid's baby and not co-sleeping. So I know me and Jay can tell you that we aren't allowed to co-sleep with our children experiencing foster care. But I did co-sleep with Bear for a little while when I was breastfeeding. I definitely pulled him into bed. But I also took him to his crib at 6 months, so it was only a little bit of a window. And now I do still kind of bed share sometimes. Bear crawled into my bed last night. I do not with babies. I'm terrified. My anxiety is too much. But we're also not allowed to. So we don't.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because my parents, we co-slept with them. I mean, I slept with my parents until I was like 15, honestly.
Me too. Yeah.
And so when I became a foster parent, I expected that they were going to sleep with us. And then you go through the training, you're like, oh, you don't do that. That's not safe. And it's like, oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Nowadays, my children, once in a while, will stay up and they'll say, can I sleep with you? And we'll say yes. But my children are older. They're not babies. I think it's definitely a different story when they're extremely young, right? Like babies.
Yeah.
But as toddlers, I don't see
No.
it as a major thing. Would I want them to sleep with me every night? Absolutely not, because Kyler and I need our own little time.
But if they crawl into bed, you're cool with it.
Yes,
Yeah, that's how I
absolutely.
feel too. Yep. Paige?
I think that every child is different.
Yes.
I do believe that every child is very different. I will say Juliet could have given 0 fucks what I was doing to help her to sleep on her own. She didn't care. So there did come a point with her where I just broke down and was like, she won't go down.
Yeah.
She won't
Yeah.
go down. And there came a point where she would only rest if she was on me. And I lost rest because of it, obviously, because I also had anxiety. But then I started to play into the factor of having an owlet on.
Yes,
And
that's
so we
really
did
helpful.
co-sleep a little bit. We also breastfed.
Yeah.
We obviously are working on the transitioning and everything like that. But I think that every mom is different. I do believe in safe sleep. I understand the importance of it. I understand there are children that unfortunately pass away because of safe sleep and the lack thereof.
Right.
And that's a huge fear of mine. So I will say any and every time that she has co-slept, I'm that mom that has an oxygen monitor on, that knows where she's at, and honestly that loses sleep to be able to give her sleep. So I don't think it's so black and white as to co-sleeping versus not, because while I would love for her to be in her bed 100% of the time and for me to get that break, sometimes she won't rest until she can feel me. And then she does rest. And then honestly, in my brain, I think to myself, the only way she can tell me that something's wrong is by crying. And if she's crying and telling me something's not right, and I soothe her and I get her down and then I put her back in her crib and she immediately wakes back up and is upset, she needs me. And so it's hard. It's really, really hard. So if you're struggling through that, you're so not alone.
Yeah.
And obviously the opinions can be very brutal about it. Just do things in the safest way that you possibly
Yeah, and there's
can.
a lot of very informative moms out there sharing how they stay asleep while co-sleeping.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to get my babies to sleep without. And so that has been a lot of learning.
Yeah.
But
we did have a child that it was extremely hard. You'd barely get them down and then they'd start crying. But we had one of those bassinets that kind of rolled. And so we'd put it right next to my bed. And I would literally.
We roll there,
I would literally be crying. And then if I stopped, I was like, Lord Almighty. Now.
Like, you're on
They
me
have
over
the
the
one that's
thing.
open now.
Yes.
Yeah, they have the one that's open now. Yeah. And so that's what we did. We would just bring the bassinet wherever. So that way we could kind of like still
Yes.
soothe them, but not sleep with us because, I mean, you just never know. You could fall asleep and literally roll on top.
Oh, yeah.
That's so terrifying
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
extremely
It's so scary.
So this was like 50-50, you guys. So don't be afraid to say what you do. If you safely sleep with your baby, take it proudly. This is literally says 2,000 people co-slept with their baby, and less than that, 1,800 did not co-sleep. So do what gets you rest that is safe for your family and your baby and you. That's
Yeah,
what I'll
because
say.
there's nothing more dangerous than sleep deprivation. I'll tell you that right now, because that can cause anger. It can cause you to fall asleep, be out of it. Like, I'm so aware of everything.
yes.
If they move, I'm aware. It's like I never fully fall asleep.
Right.
He's snoring.
Yeah.
Right next to me. So that was always my biggest fear. Is like I would separate myself and just be just me and her. Okay. Oh, my nipples are burning thinking about
about
it.
her baby.
I'm a breastfeeding mom.
Just think about it, baby.
Ben just looked at me in the most mortified fashion.
In context, it makes sense, but just what a random.
It just started burning.
I'm done. Speaking of breastfeeding, the next one is breastfeeding or bottle feeding. Now, there was a lot of in between, and people were messaging me like, well, I did both, or I did one for one or the other. And so, like, for Paige, even, like, obviously you.
I breastfed both.
Yeah.
Fully. I breastfed Boston until he was 15 months. Juliet is currently 13 months and still breastfeeding, and we will continue to do so. Now, that's not to say that I wouldn't have switched to formula if we needed to. I was blessed. My body would produce enough milk that I could properly feed them. They both latched properly and did well with it. Frankly, Juliet does not take a bottle, would not take a bottle even of breast milk. She's a straight from the tap kind of girl. So it's, it is crazy. But
It is an accomplishment, though, to breastfeed that long.
Yes.
So congratulations. She has now breastfed 2 babies over a year. So for me, it was the complete opposite. I wanted to breastfeed, and I did not produce milk. For like the first 2 weeks, Bear was also in the NICU for 8 days, and my milk would not come in at all.
When did you stop? When do you decide?
So for
know
me,
everybody's is
I
different,
exclusively pumped for 9 months, and I would nurse Bear at nighttime, but I had to supplement with a bottle of formula because it was not enough for him. And I stopped because I just wasn't producing enough. I was like 2 ounces like every 6 hours. And so it wasn't worth it for me. When
mentally
Yeah, he
draining.
was feeling satisfied with a bottle, and that gave me a peace of mind.
Okay.
So that's when I stopped. I don't know when you stopped with Boston and whatnot, but
when we went on our honeymoon was whenever we chose, because we would be gone for 6 days. And so that was the transition that we made. He was 15 months old. So he was eating food at that point. We're going to Vegas.
Yeah,
I mean,
Juliet
by
is
now we
12
will have already been in Vegas,
Yes.
but I've pumped enough milk for her to take a bottle, and we've found one singular bottle that she will take. So we'll see if she actually took it while I was gone. Thankfully, she does eat food, so I know she won't be starved. But she may be like, no, I don't want that unless it's right from here. And who knows, she may pick right back up and be like, hi, Mom, and want to nurse, or she may be
tap
like,
is back.
we're done with this.
My tap is back.
Order in.
So the reason I asked is because one time I watched this episode of Desperate Housewives, and
Oh my God, I know what you're talking about.
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, where like
And
the
so-
7-year-old comes up and grabs up her
so
shirt.
Lynette, they're in the office.
No shame. Go ahead,
and,
do it.
The mom
God, if
is
you can produce that
breastfeeding
long.
her son, and they're like, "Oh, you have a son?" Yes. And then when the son shows up, he ends up being like a toddler. I think he was like 3 or 4. And everybody was shooketh in the office that she was still breastfeeding her son. But I've heard and read that people do breastfeed
When I
at
was
different ages. And
I thought I would. I thought I would go to like 2 when before I had kids. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do extended breastfeeding. And that
12
didn't happen.
months was always my
That
goal.
didn't help me.
That was my minimum goal, is 12 months. With Boston, I was like, 12 months, I want to be done. But then it was like emotional. And I was like, well, our honeymoon's in a couple months. We'll just wait here. Juliet, I'll let her decide.
Yeah.
She's my last baby. And I'm just like, you can choose.
So interesting fun fact is obviously I don't breastfeed. If y'all didn't know that, you're like, where does Jay lean on this? It would not be breastfeed, okay? But so what's funny is obviously my children were not breastfed, and we've had for example Kingston and Thalia since birth, so they were never breastfed, and so we had baby Brezas. Do you know what those are?
Yeah.
Okay, they're like the Keurig for like bottles. And we had 2 of them because we always had babies. Even before Quinceanera, we had 2 babies always at the same time. And so it just helped out a lot to have the water warmed up and just push the button and it was good. And so it was interesting because that just became our norm for like 2 years. We had babies. And so my caseworker, she was pregnant and I wanted to get her a gift. And I told Kyla, I was like, what if we get her a baby Brezza? I mean, it just went over our head. And then so I was talking to her and I was like, oh, are you going to get a baby Brezza? And she was like, no, I breastfeed. And I was like, it literally didn't dawn on me that people like moms did not have those.
I know.
But because it was just my normal that that's what we used. And I was like, well, of course they don't do that, Jay, because they breastfeed.
Some moms do choose right away. Yeah.
Right. But
that's
it was
true.
so interesting when it hit me because I was like, oh, maybe I could just.
It's so wholesome because you had no idea. You're just like, oh, I'm going to get her this great gift.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I thought because it was amazing. When we found out, I was like, yes, we're getting these.
For sure.
I go back to when Amor saw me breastfeeding
My
Juliet
God,
a couple
Lord,
weeks
so
ago.
cute. Yeah.
She said, what are you doing to her?
I said, Amor, she feeds her baby with her chichita.
Yeah,
And I feel like that was so
her
great.
chichitas have lecheta in them.
Yeah. I thought it was so cute because like when they say it takes a village, like
Yeah.
Jay, they're 2 dads. And so for her to be able to see that from Paige was amazing because now she knows that like, oh, mamas feed their babies with their breast. And so
They
like, I
can.
literally loved that.
Yeah, I told Amor, I said, one of these days, if you choose to have children, you potentially will breastfeed your children.
That's right.
And she was like, really? I don't think so. And I was like, well, that's up to you, my love.
And even as a
cute.
breastfeeding mom that has done it with both for at least a minimum of a year, this shit is hard. It is so mentally taxing. It is draining. You have to think about everything that you eat. You have to think about everywhere that you go. I have to be around her every 3 to 4 hours. I don't have any other option or I'm going to start turning painful and I'm going to get pissy. And she is too. But, so to me, genuinely, as someone who has this great asset that has been able to provide me without worry, genuinely, I don't have to worry about supplying. Feed your baby how you need to feed your baby. It doesn't matter. You're feeding them. You're a step above. You're being a good parent if you are choosing to feed them.
Fed is best. Quote me on it. Quote me on it.
Yeah, literally. I don't give a rat's ass who says that it has to be the breast. That I disagree. I think that you need to feed your child how they need and want to be fed. And you listening to them is all that matters.
Agreed.
I'm a very crunchy person. Okay, we live a very clean, crunchy life. I know that most of you listening or watching will have seen some sort of TikTok that's like, if you bottle feed your child, you're setting them up for fail. It's not true. It's not true. Just feed your child. Fed is
right.
best. I love
agree.
that. Like,
Yeah. Someone tried to tell me that one time. I have children experiencing foster care, and bottle's my only option.
Yeah.
And I had like 4 kids at the time, and the lady was like, I was feeding the baby. She was like 6 weeks old, and the lady was like, "Oh, you don't want to breastfeed?" I was like, "No, no, I can't really breastfeed." Oh, you can't do that. Like, did you breastfeed the other ones? And I was like, "No, like I did for him, but not him." And the way that she was looking at me was just so rude. And one of the little girls, she goes, "Oh, Mama Cindy," that's what they called me. And then she's like, "Oh, that's not your daughter." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm a foster parent." And she felt so stupid. And I think it changed her perspective because I cannot give them formula. I can't breastfeed them. And it's hard to sometimes get their mom's milk, or it's, appropriate. But girl, fed is best.
Question
Yeah,
randomly. Could you accept donor milk?
I believe you can if your baby has some kind of allergy. I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple foster moms do that. I've never been offered that ever for any of mine.
Topic. I think we'd have to get it cleared by the doctor.
Yes.
That was my thought.
Yes.
Yes.
Mean, it wouldn't really be our decision. We would have to, and probably the parents' decision as well.
Yes,
if
it
they
would.
were involved, they
Yeah.
would have to
Kind
of talk about that. But it's interesting because I have seen on TikTok, in the adoptee TikTok, where there has been some, I'm not sure if they were foster parents, but for sure adoptive parents who have taken, I don't know if it's like a pill or something that makes
to help you
produce
lactate.
milk.
Yeah.
And some people have said, that is a topic in itself that people have said, why would you want to breastfeed your child that was not biologically
You can induce
yours?
lactation.
Yeah. And so that even in itself is kind of like an interesting topic too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, obviously I'm a male, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. But yeah.
Would you breastfeed somebody else's kid?
I've never felt the urge to. I've been a foster parent to a lot of babies, and I've never thought of like, let me induce lactation.
Yeah.
Never, because
Like if you were breastfeeding another kid and your friend was like, I'm not producing enough or something.
I don't see nothing wrong with it. I know they used to do that back in the day. They used to do it back in the day. I'm like, shoot, my nipple hurt. Can you put it on yours?
I think you know.
I think I would.
I think I would.
I felt almost shamed just now, but I thought actually I probably
No,
would.
I mean, if you think in that
If
situation,
it's clean.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about somebody you don't
Right.
know,
No.
but
Yeah.
like somebody
in
you
that
trust and
situation,
love.
the parents would be consenting. Like,
Absolutely.
both of you
Yeah.
are the moms, and you say, "Hey,
I would
let's do
not
this." I think that's
try to do
very
it for a
consenting and
yeah.
everything. But if there wasn't consent from the parents,
Exactly,
or
I would not.
something like that.
Right,
That's absolutely
right.
passing, like stepping a boundary that you should not.
That'd be fun. You
go.
could take an hour for me, and I would just have a break. Anyways, good.
Interesting, yeah.
So also that was pretty 50-50 on that one. A lot of people did a baba, and a lot of people did not. I was trying to find it.
The babas.
Oh yeah, people said that's not called the baba. My bad. Again, it was like 2,000 to 1,700, so pretty close. Okay. The next one is, I'll do that one next. Stay-at-home mom. This was 4 categories, okay? Stay-at-home mom, get back to work. So, like, are you the type of mom who's a stay-at-home mom? Did you want to get back to work? You want to be a stay-at-home mom, but you have to work? Or you are a stay-at-home mom and you want to go to work? So this was a long category, but most of my followers are stay-at-home moms.
Yeah, I would say
Based on
probably
this.
a lot of mine are too.
Yeah. And then the next one is that a lot of moms and parents would like to be stay-at-home parents and not work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were the 2 top categories, is that they want to be one but have to go to work.
I think it's so interesting. So before I had kids, if you would have met me, what was it, 5 years ago? I literally wanted to be a manager.
Me too.
In my timeline, I should have been a manager at my job currently, and going on to group manager and the Latino CEO, you know. But when I got children, it completely changed. I mean, it was so crazy how career obsessed I was. I'm like Devil Wears Prada, and I was that. Miranda Priestley.
Yeah.
That was me, right? And like even when I used to watch that movie, and I was like, Emily gave away the chance of a lifetime. Because in that moment I didn't have kids, right? So I was like, why would she do, or I mean, she didn't have kids, but in my mind, because I was so obsessed with my job, I was like, why would she do that? That's like the best opportunity. And I was like, ugh. And then now, you know, when I had children and I was fostering, my world turned upside down. I even had to tell my bosses, everything that you knew about me, forget about it. Like, I don't, any extracurricular activities that I used to do, I'm here to do my successful job. The bare minimum of what my job entails is what I'm here to give you.
That's right.
Because this is no longer my priority. Like my children are my priority. And everybody was shooketh.
And Jay is a working dad, you guys. He works full time.
Yeah, Kyler and I work full time. And so it's interesting because I completely changed. And I remember like a year into it, someone messaged me like, oh, there's a manager's position. I'm assuming you applied. And I said, assume not. I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, I don't want to. And they're like, what? And even someone the other day messaged me like, hey, how have you been? I haven't talked to you in years. Are you a manager yet? Or like, where are you? Like, you're probably a CEO already. And I was like, no.
I don't want to be.
No, I was like, no, yeah. Like, if I tell Kyler all the time, well, I mean, I don't want to change my lifestyle, but I tell Kyler all the time, if I had to choose, I would rather be at home with my children.
Yeah.
Once they are older, then maybe go back to work. Maybe. Just kidding. But if it was up to me, I would stay home all day with the children and just teach them, do fun activities or whatever.
That was me. So I was a manager. I was a very successful manager of 2 different practices. I had my hands in both, and I was doing big things and on my way to do big things. And I can remember when I got pregnant, my regional manager being like, you're not going to turn into one of those stay-at-home moms, are you? And I was like, oh, no. Like, I have to have a job. Like, there's just no way I can't sit down and just, like, not do anything. And then, obviously, I realized what being a stay-at-home mom was. I came in with a rude awakening. But I can remember I was 2 weeks postpartum, so I had to go on bed rest 6 weeks early. And this is the beauty of where we live and how little support you get as a mother. Because I went on bed rest 6 weeks early because I went into preterm labor, I only had 2 weeks of maternity leave once my son was born. And so my regional manager texted me and was like, if you don't come back, I need to offer your job to somebody else. And I was like, oh, well, first of all, keep in mind, he wanted to hire back his best friend, so this comes down to a personal issue. He really just wanted to hire his best friend back, which like makes sense now. But in my postpartum brain, I was like, I work my ass off. I work my ass off. I make more money for this company than any other manager and we were like out of 52 offices, we were number 2. There was no way we'd ever be number 1. That was their main branch. That was their main location. So being number 2 in the 1 year that I had like really turned it around, I was like, I'm good at this and I know how to do this. And then I saw Boston and everything changed. And when he was like, I need you to come back, I said, well, if you can't even give me 6 weeks to breathe and figure this all out, there's no way I can. I'm not ready to leave him. And I could not physically imagine leaving him. It hurt me. It put me into pain. So I can remember thinking like, oh, I'll never be a stay-at-home mom. I've got to have a job. And even still, I'm still finding ways to monetize at home and to do something at least. But I do that because I don't want to leave. I want to be around my babies all day long. Hell, sharing him with ABA therapy was hard for me. I was like, I don't want you to have him all day. I want to have him all day. They're like, no, he'd really benefit. And I was like, well, what do you? Because I mean, like, I'm not there.
I mean, in stages of life is what I call it. Because I'm like, who knows? Once my children are older, I might want to take over the world again and be a CEO. Who knows? But right now, no, absolutely not. Like, I just want to be with my children.
So
and obviously, I'm a little morbid, and I'm like, well, what if I'm not here for very long? And the time that I did have when they were younger, I didn't really enjoy, so that always sticks with me as well. So before I used to save my PTO and I would have 400 or 500 hours. Now
none.
I'm like, use your PTO. Like I tell my specialists who are on my team, use your PTO. And they're like, no. And I was like, use it. I was like, y'all know y'all soup is a use it PTO type of guy. I'm like, bye, here's my schedule. No, you're only working 2 days this week. I sure am. We're going to here with my kids.
That's right.
See y'all next week.
I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, always. We couldn't afford it when I first had Bear. There's no way, Well, we needed a 2-income household. And then when I went back to work, I was a kindergarten teacher, like transitional kindergarten. That's what I taught 5s. And so like I had the summer off and then I had to go back to work. And I remember taking Bear when he was like 4 weeks old and they would let him cry. And I had like postpartum anxiety. And I said, hell no. And I remember my mom like cutting her work week short so she could watch him 3 days a week. And I would have to take him 2 days a week. And still those 2 days. And I went home crying to Chris like, we got to figure it out. I can't do this. I literally can't do this. And so he was like, okay, well, we're going to cut budgets. And we did. We adjusted our whole lifestyle, what we were buying, the bills that we had, so I could stay home.
What a privilege.
And so, so we were able to fluctuate the bills and it was a stricter meal plan. It was stricter, not doing as much, but I got to be at home with my kids. And the difference is that I was going to make money no matter what. So I was going to bring in an income. So I started nannying and I had like 4 little girls or 4 kids that I watched and I made a really great income off of that. And then Chris got a promotion and it was like the best thing that could have happened. And we were able to afford all of our bills and everything because he worked his butt off. But I also supplemented income. And then I got on social media. Didn't even know I could make money on there. I was just sharing my life and people wanted to sponsor me. And I was like, I'm not going to turn that down to provide for my family. And to this day, I still monetize from social media for my family. I was able to pay off debt. I'm able to take vacations with my family just because of that. But my husband still carries our household to this day, and we still cut corners on things to make sure that I can be stay-at-home mom because social media, you don't get paid a lot all of the time. Even though I have 1 million followers, I don't get paid a lot. And so Chris is still our main income. And so, but we are financially stable enough. We're basically debt-free. And so that helped a lot in my early stages. And then, so now I'm stay-at-home mom. I plan to be one forever. Ain't no going back for me. Yeah. And same my husband. He is on the same page as us. He wants me to be able to be there for my kids all the way through high school, be available to them forever. And when we hit out of high school, we plan to travel. So I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom as long as I can be.
I think that's such a privilege because there's a lot of
is
people
a privilege.
Who are not able to stay at home with their children, right? And even like for me, like obviously I still work, but my job is extremely flexible. Like I told my boss I was leaving early today because I had to film the podcast. I totally forgot. I usually send out my schedule in advance and I realized I forgot that I was filming the podcast today. So I went in out to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. I usually don't go in at 5. Sent an email to my team and I said, I'm leaving at 11. Yeah. And I'll be working late tonight. And so obviously I am privileged that I have that flexibility. But it's interesting because when I was at my job, we get paid parental leave.
Yeah.
And so it
That's
was
cool.
even eligible for foster children.
Right.
So we, based off of the policy, it's for every calendar year. So like if I take it in September, it's not eligible till September 5th of the next year.
Right.
And we did that so much. Every time we got a new placement,
Yep.
we would do that. Or, you know, obviously it's either for foster children or adoptive.
Yep.
Once you adopt.
That's really
and
cool.
It was really nice to be able to take that time. And Kyla and I both work for the same company, so we were able to do it together. And I remember we would go and take trips with our foster children and go do something fun because we
I
were
love
off
that.
for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so
I think we're all very lucky in that we have flexible schedules. We're able to change our lives around to make sure that we can stay home with our kids. Some people cannot. I get it. Some people have to live on that 2 income. It was a struggle at first for us even. But another part of this question was the moms that are stay-at-home moms and they do want to go back to work. And I've had a friend like that where it wasn't for her. It wasn't for them.
Yeah, she was like, I can't
that's
do
totally
this.
cool.
I don't like
Yes.
it. I need
and
to get
everyone is
out.
completely different.
Yes.
Everybody's priorities are completely different. And if you are the person who wants to stop working and be a stay-at-home mom, there's nothing wrong with
Nope.
that, right? And if you're not
Not at all.
able to, don't carry that guilt either. I mean, that's just, you're in a situation where you're not able to do that right now. Or if you're one of those moms, because also that's a very big one, where they feel like bad moms because they want to go out into the workforce
Yeah.
and work. And it's like, everyone is completely different. And you are still a great mom
Yes.
or a great parent, no matter what.
That's right.
So
I love it. Alrighty, let's
Taking
see.
care of yourself is a way of taking care of your children.
yes.
Which one do you want to do next, Paige?
Let's go back to that very first song. Okay.
That one?
Sleepovers or no sleepovers? My idea of this has recently changed.
I am Mexican. The answer is no. Well, for women, because it was in Mexican culture, boys can have sleepover, or girls cannot.
Interesting. I loved sleepovers when I was little. If I'm being
I
honest,
loved
my
them.
parents let me go all the time.
Me too.
But I don't know where I land officially yet. Right now, I'm a no. But my children are not the age that they're going to sleepovers.
Yeah.
So right now I'm a no because of the scary things in this world.
Yeah.
But when my child is 15, 16 years old, who's to say that might change? So that's where I'm like, I'm on the fence. But right now it's a no.
So I dabble in both, as I have 2 teenagers as well as 2 littles. For my littles, it's a no. For my oldest, it's a preference of no. He doesn't care to go to anybody else's home. Vance, however, is by this time 17, and he will have a sleepover every once in a while. He will go over to his friends, but he will even tell you he doesn't like sharing a bed with his friends. They stay up too late. They do this, do that. So I do lean more towards no, but Vance is old enough to tell me when he wants to.
Okay.
And I do relay on those evenings where he does stay the night, I'm going to talk to the parent.
That's right.
I'm gonna talk to the parent who all's going.
Absolutely.
I
I'm
want to.
knowing.
I want to have that mama's phone number, and she's gonna tell me what y'all are doing. Because then the case, God forbid, he lies to me and they do something else. So did an adult, and I could take it up with her.
True that.
It's just very interesting, like even to what I said that, like, for example, my parents were way more lenient with me and my brother. My sister, she couldn't really do a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom and dad really had her very close to them. Like my sister didn't wear makeup. She didn't wear any outfits or anything. She looked like a 15-year-old. I mean, she dressed like a 12-year-old. I mean, honestly, at her quinceañeras when she really started wearing she wore makeup, high heels. I mean, my mom was just and if my sister went out, I went with her.
Yeah.
Even when she was 17, 18, I had to go with her.
It's
Or my
crazy to
sister
know
was
like
not
you have
allowed
to
go.
protect them from
Yes, but
people.
My point with that is the interesting part is a lot of people think you only have to do that with girls, and that is
Yeah.
not
Not true. Yeah.
Drake
Because
Bell
sometimes
taught
the-
us anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of people say, "Oh, the girls. Like, oh, it happens to boys, it happens to men as well." But I think a lot of people just focus mainly on the girls.
And it's usually people you know. It's not usually a stranger walking down the street. It's usually someone you know and trust.
And that's extremely hard. And yes,
Scary.
statistics have shown that, right? And it's just so hard. But I hope that, because I know a lot of people can get very, like, for example, other parents, like, let's say that someone say, hey, can your child swim? No, this is a no child household. I think it's interesting when those parents get offended.
Oh yeah.
It's like at the end of the day, I'm trying to protect my child, so don't take it offensively. Like this is nothing. This is just the rule. I don't care who you are. This is the rule.
Yeah,
this is what
has nothing to do with you.
Some people can get extremely upset. Like, what?
I'm a normal person. I'm around them all the time.
I'm your cousin.
Okay.
I'm your uncle or whatever. It's like, oh well.
Yeah.
They all
So it's an
are.
interesting topic.
If they get offended, that's typically a pretty good red flag.
Yeah.
Like that might not imply anything, but it's like, okay, you have mannerisms and behaviors I don't want around my kid.
Yeah. You don't
Like, you're not
respect other
respecting-
people.
Yeah, not respecting my boundaries.
My boundaries, exactly. Yeah, I'm very quick to tell people no, we don't do that.
Yeah, and I think the important thing also, because it doesn't have to be just sleepovers, is to teach your children about their body. Like your body is your body, and nobody should touch you. And who
For sure.
And not on the internet, for the love of God. Please tell me y'all saw the video of the mom teaching the 3-year-old about her private parts, and she literally has her laid down on the floor and is teaching her child about the private parts, and it's just like the phone is cut off at her privates.
Oh,
What?
God.
Yes, don't do that shit. That's
It just comes teaching your children about those things just really just come naturally.
Yeah.
So for my youngest, well, not my youngest, I guess. For Fox, he's at that age where he's exploring himself, and not in a weird way, just like, oh, what's this? What's this? And I'll just be like, oh, that's your neck, that's your elbow. Like you just explain it in a normal way,
Yeah, I think it's super important to educate your
Oh,
children
yeah.
on their body, who are their trusted adults.
Yes.
But even if even if you tell them these are your trusted adults, but what should a trusted adult still?
That's
what are
right.
the boundaries of a trusted adult? Because that's also a major
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. And then the last but not least is to make sure that you educate your children on what their body parts are.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is my vagina. This is my penis. This is my
Yeah.
butt.
Yes.
Because
I'm
when you
big on saying
use-
those words over
Yes.
this is my bobo.
Yeah.
Because I don't want my child to come up to me and say, well, he touched my bobo.
Yeah.
What's your bobo? Is
Yeah.
it
It's
your
like, my
bear?
cousin ate my
Is it
cookie,
your...
and
That's a
you're
huge-
like,
yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, Ahoy's or Oreo?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
And unfortunately, and that's horrible. It makes me honestly a little bit upset just to think about it, but
That's the world we live
Be very
in.
careful and talk about those things with the kids because you just never know.
And I started that at a really young age. Like when you just explain things to me normally. That's what's you don't have to make anything a big deal.
Yeah.
So even when we get to the conversation about sex, I'm going to explain sex should be a positive thing. It should never be a hurtful thing or anything. And because I want them to know that one time, if it does happen, this shouldn't hurt me. This shouldn't make me sad. This shouldn't make my body hurt. And so I want to be able to have that conversation naturally before anything else happens.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the shame
hard combo.
comes from within ourselves.
Yeah.
The shame and the embarrassment to talk about sex or to call it the name probably comes from within ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And this is awkward to speak to my child. It's well, someone has to do it, and you're the parent, and so.
There's a great book that we use. It's called It's My Body or My Body, What I Say Goes. It's a great book, and it doesn't cut corners and it doesn't sugarcoat things, and you can read it to your kids, and it covers that. It covers trusted adults. It covers body parts. It covers what is absolutely not okay. It covers, you differentiate between secrets and surprises. So we don't have secrets in our house. We have surprises, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Anybody who
about
asks
to
you
bring
keep a
that up.
secret,
Adults don't keep secrets.
Adults don't
We're going to
keep
put that in the
secrets.
bio because that is a great book to have. Thank you, Ben.
course.
That is so good. But yeah, so no sleepovers yet for me.
Yeah, we're not there.
That was pretty, no sleepovers is 73% compared to 27%. I think social media has changed a lot of
Yeah.
us parents.
Yeah.
Because we get to see the bad people out there for
Or
who
just
they are.
our generation alone was so trusted at
Oh, yeah.
sleepovers. The only time that
yeah.
I ever drank was at sleepovers. So, the only time I ever did anything that my parents wouldn't approved of was at sleepovers.
Alrighty, so let's see here. We have another one. It's kind of is screen time. We could put on here unlimited screen time. Are you no screen time or do you do timed? So unlimited and timed screen time are pretty much in the same category. The no screen time is at 3%. So nobody, barely anybody's doing zero screen time. So that's interesting.
We don't time it. I'm not he can have an hour a day. At 9 o'clock, it's bedtime. there's time and place. We're playing
It's time and
now,
place,
right?
yeah.
Time and place. But like, if he's been watching a movie for an hour and a half and he wants to watch the second movie and he's interested in it, I'll be like, yeah, sure, go ahead. But he also plays outside all day long.
school
It's
all
not,
day,
yeah. It's very different, circumstantial. He definitely doesn't just sit in front of a TV, and I don't turn on a TV to entertain. Juliet's never watched a single show, so I mean, it just kind of depends. He's old enough that he can come to me and say, as of right now, I want to watch Daft Punk one more time, over and over again. So he's a big
Yeah.
Daft Punk boy. So we, listen on YouTube. I'm very, very involved in that though, because you can flip to anything on YouTube. So I'm in that bedroom every
was gonna
5 or 6
caveat,
minutes, because I'm like,
don't allow
what
YouTube.
song are
YouTube
we
is
listening
so
to?
bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Even sometimes with YouTube Kids, things
Yes.
can slip into the
YouTube's not
cracks.
Yes.
allowed in our house.
Yeah, YouTube's
anymore.
a no-go.
That's actually one thing that we used to, and then you would just like hear things. And for the last 2 years, it's been no YouTube. YouTube is gone off all of our apps because it's terrifying. No,
My child would headbutt me, if you want me to be honest with you. He'd be like, no, you're going to pull that song up.
well,
But
you're
he also
very
That's
doesn't
aware of it
different.
watch.
though. You're very
Yeah.
you're watching.
Yeah, I am.
Alone YouTube is terrifying to me.
No. And
That's different than
I
a kid
say
with
YouTube,
an iPad watching an adult
Yeah.
play with toys.
Yes.
That's
Boston doesn't have
wrong.
an iPad. It's on a TV.
Yeah.
So it's a music playlist. So I
Yeah.
know what's going on. But we're not just saying he doesn't have an iPad.
Yeah.
And he does play with an iPad at school because they use their learning programs on these iPads. So he knows how to use one and how to play with it. But I just don't see any reason for him to have one.
My kids have them.
So Cindy,
If he
right,
wanted one.
my children have iPads
Yeah.
as well. They get them at 3
Mine
years
too.
old. I have to buy one in a couple of weeks because Kingston turns 3. So I guess my question is for you and for other parents is, do you consider a TV screen time? 'Cause
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting because someone told me the other day, they're like, oh, well, I only let them use their iPad a certain time, but they can watch unlimited TV. And I'm like, wasn't it the same thing?
Yeah. So,
If you think about it.
that kind of is my household. But I don't do unlimited TV. But my oldest, we homeschool, and so during the week there are no electronics allowed. We don't allow them until Friday afternoon. That's just how it goes. There's no iPads, no switches until Friday afternoon, and TV is the only thing we allow during the week. And it's not timed. We're also whatever it is because he's so active in sports, guitar lessons, play dates that I know we're not sitting in front of the TV all day. But if at the end of the day he's going to relax for 2 hours, I just don't care because I do too.
Yeah.
We're very active, and I know that's not what we're doing. But yeah, we are the family though that only TV during the week.
So
We
it's
do not allow
interesting.
tablets.
So with my children, 4 of them have iPads, and obviously Kingston shares theirs or uses mine. But we've been timing it because I don't
Yeah.
want them to have too much. And I also do think that TV and the tablet is the same thing because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the Netflix Coco Melon, you can watch it on the TV and you can watch it on the.
So for me,
on
the
their
tablet's different
iPad.
because Bear wants to just play games on his
Oh, okay.
tablet.
I think
he
it does
doesn't
change
watch shows.
as the
Age.
As the
Yeah.
age.
We had the time when my children were your age, when Bear was like 5 and 4, for sure. He thought
Yeah.
that was like the best thing ever.
Yeah. And if Boston was interested in playing those games, we'd time it.
because it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, because he'd never want to get out. It's
Right.
preferred activity.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, but I try to limit it as much.
Yeah.
And I try to cut it off like an hour before bed because that will be a
Yes.
whole breakdown. If you do it immediately to go straight to bed, it's like they're still
Yeah.
kind of going. But I try to limit it as much as possible. Now, Grayson has been homeschooled now for 2 months. 2 months. And so the interesting fact is that he thought that now that he was homeschooled, he was going to have unlimited tablet time because what I was allowing with Grayson is that he had appointments and then he had extracurriculars like baseball and all those good stuff. So when he had those 2 hours in that one day after school and after his appointments or his lessons, whatever, yeah, I would let him use the iPad because he had such a busy day.
Yeah.
He had a whole busy schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's his one outlet that he really enjoys, so we would allow it. But then when he went to not work from home, but
To
went to
homeschool, yeah.
homeschool, I was
It changes.
yeah, and
It does.
He just expected that he was going to use the iPad all the time. I was like, no. I was like, we have a time frame, and so now we do where he works out for the time. So he
Yeah.
gets 2 hours automatically, and then if he does each chore is like 10 minutes on the tablet, and so he can come up to 3 hours potentially.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it sounds mean that I say we don't do electronics during the week, but my child is homeschooled, and if he wanted to be on his tablet all weekday, he would.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Right.
we can't do that.
If you're
We do
doing
the
the
same
best thing
thing.
for
It's a time and a
him.
place. Yeah. Oh yeah. And so like he
wouldn't
knows
thrive
what to
otherwise.
expect. Yeah, exactly. And so it's also really cool that like when we do TV during the day, he's just watching cool movies or like we'll put on like Animal Planet and he'll watch something like that. And that has literally helped us so much because for a while there, I was overwhelmed. I've had a house full of kids and I was overwhelmed, and I would hand bear the tablet every now and then. We're overwhelmed as parents sometimes. And so we had to completely shut that down and start over, and we did. And it's never too late to start over. Like we did a screen-free week for all of us parents, or all of us in the house, and it worked great. And now we have a really great balance for school.
The last recording we did, as you guys know, and give me crap for, my phone was out of my hand. I woke up one morning and my screen had just stopped working, and so it was with Geek Squad for 2 days. So I had 2 days that I didn't have a phone, and I had places to go, and I used MapQuest, and it was fun. And when I got my phone back, I was like, I hate this thing. Like I don't need it. The only thing I was sad about is I lost 2 years of photos of my kids.
Man.
But I didn't give a crap about it. I didn't give a crap that I couldn't call anybody. I didn't. But so like, my daughter, she knows. Like she's like, Daddy, you don't like your phone, do you? I say, no. Like these things are so deviously crafted to grab hold of our attention and demand it. Like you want to just scroll, and if we can perhaps with that knowledge teach our kids how to responsibly use this technology and understand that it's predatory. Like the bright, flashy videos on YouTube are predatory. They're meant to draw children's attention. While we love YouTube, thank you for giving us the hosting platform for this podcast. It is designed to feed you ads and it monetizes partners because Google is making so much advertising. And so if you begin to understand a lot of this technology is predatory, you have to meter it. Like our oldest, he's, he hones in on stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's just locked in on stuff, and if he plays video games for too long, he becomes super irritable. He's too locked in, and he's the kind of kid who's like, okay, you got to have time limits, and so we do have time limits for screen time, but there's always like caveats. Like if they're playing Super Smash Bros, and I'm like, I got to show these kids what's up. The time limit maybe gets stretched like 30 or 45 minutes. You know what? We watched through the Harry Potter movies, so we started doing this like every Wednesday night. I'd make pizza and we'd watch Harry Potter, and it's like that's become kind of a ritual, and that's like. I'm participating in that. I'm not sitting there scrolling on my phone.
Activity.
I'm not going to work. So like there are healthy ways to do screen time.
I agree.
And while we are never going to shame any, like you got to do what you got to do. I will always strongly urge you that if you are letting the iPad like raise your kid, it's never too late to start over.
Never too
These
late.
things are dangerous if they're not properly handled.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's hard. Like it is hard to do.
It really is.
You popped up to say something. I was excited to hear it.
No, and it's hard to pull it sometimes. Like when your kid really wants it and they'll cry, especially at 3 or 4. If you've already given it to them, it's hard to pull it away.
Especially because if I just hand it back, they'll stop.
Be happy. Exactly.
Yeah.
But we
take them outside. That's my biggest thing. Boston, and this could just be for any child, but Boston's big thing whenever it comes to like a preferred activity like that, if he's upset from being pulled away from something technology, I'll be like, let's go on a walk. Come on, let's clear our head.
I love that.
And so we'll go outside for a second. He'll walk around, and then he's completely forgotten that he was doing any of that. He's like, "Oh, this is great." So just try to divert the energy somewhere else.
But you're doing a good job either way. I get it. Some days are rough, you guys. I get it. So we are going to have to do a part 2 on this because Jay did set us up a taste test to do today.
Oh my
But we have a ton more to go over. You guys, we've posted some questions.
Yeah,
so I'm going to save them and we'll do a part 2 because this has been really great. We've had a long conversation on every one of these topics. Yep. So Jay, do you want to do our taste test now?
Taste test?
Yes, I do.
All right.
He loves to make us miserable.
Taste test.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Alrighty, guys.
Scared.
So we're gonna do a little taste test. So Kyler and I started a new series. It's this or that taste test, where we blind taste test things. And so today, I asked the girls, what are some of the things that you swear you would know if it was brand, like the big brand, or off-brand? Okay. And so we're gonna try 3 different things that are completely different and see if the girls can figure out what it is.
I was not good at the Coke or the soda taste test, so
But,
this is my thing.
I'm pretty decent at these things, but just knowing that there could be just all the lists that we gave him, there's one specific thing.
Just kidding.
There's one.
This is going to be my
Yes. Oh, right here. I brought mine from home. I couldn't find my other one.
Spider-Man.
I forgot mine. So
Okay, I don't want to mess up here.
I'm okay.
That's what I did in my video.
I'm ready.
Call up things.
Oh, Cindy.
Oh my God.
Okay.
This is awful. Why did we?
Paige, look at my camera, Paige. Okay.
I'm gonna
Where's
tell you
your
what it
camera?
was.
I don't know.
What it is. I'm gonna
All
tell.
right.
So I'm gonna tell. So guys, we're gonna try 2 different types of cheeses. Okay.
Cheese, okay.
We have Kraft Singles and HEB American cheese.
Ew.
And we'll be able to see.
Wait, why not you?
You don't like either?
I love a good government cheese.
Are you talking about the plastic cheese?
Yeah, that's government
Oh,
cheese.
sweet fuckery.
So I
Okay.
feel like, like I'm very bougie and I love to cook with different expensive cheeses, but sometimes you just want a bologna
I'm
sandwich
ready. Heck
with
yeah,
this
Jay.
cheese.
The
Or sometimes a
only way I
grilled
eat
cheese
that
sandwich
cheese
with
is
just
with a
an
grilled
American
cheese.
sliced
I
cheese.
don't like it grilled.
I like it on a
amazing.
grilled cheese, but that's it.
Okay, I don't know if I can do this one. This one's gonna be hard for me.
Especially HEB brand. HEB brand is gonna be perfect. HEB brand is so good.
Yeah, guys, HEB's gonna win already.
Okay,
You gotta.
let's start with, you're gonna open it up and everything. Here we go.
okay, great.
That way you can feel it,
Oh,
smell
it opens
it,
the same as Kraft.
touch it. Oh. Wait, don't put it in your mouth at the same time as Paige.
Okay, well, when's Paige gonna put it in
I'll
her
tell
mouth?
you.
Paige.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
I'm not gonna know until I taste the other one.
Yeah, I want the
Okay.
other one.
Okay.
Is hers the other one? Ryan Trader?
we have
are
the
both
same.
the same. Okay. Here's the other one. Okay. Is this your first experience of blindfold?
Opens the
No.
same way.
Not even this week.
Okay. Did you smell it? No, she just went straight for the mouth. Okay.
Who, Paige?
Yeah. What do y'all think?
Oh,
This
that
is
one's
HEB.
gritty.
This is HEB. No, it's Kraft.
No, this is Kraft. The other one's HEB.
Who's right?
Final answer?
Yeah.
The first one was HEB.
Boom!
Wow.
You know how I knew that? When I opened the Kraft one, the edge of it fell off, and it always falls off.
yes, right.
It always falls off.
Yes,
And,
it's
like,
kind
they
of like
taste
rice
the
up
same.
or something.
No, Kraft one tastes more gritty. It has grittiness to it.
Interesting.
Nice.
Okay. Look at
This H-
Cindy.
this HB
She
one.
didn't do good
The
with
HEB
Pepsi, but
is
she's
better.
doing well
Yeah,
for
I'm
this.
fat.
Jeez.
Okay.
Don't say that shit. Did you say that? Did you
No.
say something rude about
Jay
yourself?
called me fat.
I will.
No, I did not stop.
Don't
this.
Okay, you guys,
say that.
I'll be honest with you, HEB's better.
Where is Diane to tell Cindy not
Exactly.
to use that word?
I'm gonna
Okay.
call your mama.
HEB's better.
Yes.
Yeah, the HEB tasted better.
All right, so the
Oh
next
wait,
one
was
is
the HEB first?
Yes, Paige.
I don't fucking know.
the next one is my son Grayson's favorite snack,
Aw.
hot Cheetos.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
Now,
gonna win this one.
Yeah.
we
same.
are working on finding a hot Cheeto alternative with no red dyes. So if y'all know one, let me know. Because I need an alternative for my son because we're not doing these anymore.
can
Okay?
make it
Takis
Once
at
in a
Trader
while.
Joe's.
Once in a while.
Takis at Trader Joe's.
The
yeah.
Takis
It's not
at Trader
Cheetos.
Joe's.
I did buy the Takis from Trader Joe's, but he likes hot Cheetos.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand.
Alrighty. I'm going to give you 2. There you go.
Is this the same one?
Y'all have the same one.
This is Flamin' Hot.
Oh yeah,
This is Flamin' Hot.
that's flaming hot.
These used to be my favorite,
Well,
but
no, they're not.
We'll see.
wait,
They
wait.
got a funky
Wait, I just
aftertaste.
changed my mind.
We'll see. We'll see. Okay.
Oh wait, maybe. They half off brand feel.
They have what?
Oh my god, you
This one
guys.
extra hot.
Honestly, yo, they both taste good.
They both taste really good.
Yeah, they do.
I think the first one was Cheetos though. No.
Can I get the first one more time?
Yeah.
Sure. And the one thing I'll say, guys, when
This
you're
is
looking at this
spicier.
and you're on Apple or Spotify, go to YouTube so you can see these ladies tasting it.
The second
But
one is
also-
Okay,
water.
number 1 is Flamin' Hot. Number 2 is Off Brand.
Okay, HEB.
Yeah, here we go. Number 1 is Flamin' Hot.
But in the comments, let us know also what are some other things you would like these girls to taste and put in their mouth. Okay, let us know.
Okay, 1 is the real, 2 is fake. 2 is HEB. Stand by it.
What do
Was
you-
that the second one you just gave me?
That was the first. That was the first.
Yeah, that was
one.
the first one. You guys just got it.
That's flaming hot. The second one is HEB.
Yeah.
And it's hotter.
Yep, it is.
That is correct.
Boom.
Good job. Okay.
Flamin' Hot has a distinct.
Yeah,
taste.
it's the
I had to suck the
aftertaste.
flavor of it, so that
Exactly. it's
people are
the-
gonna see me just do that.
It's the aftertaste tastes like a
Don't
Cheeto.
zoom in, Ben. Vincent, I'm not a part of this.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Where is Ben? He left.
No, I'm sitting right
Oh, there you go.
One more thing.
One more.
I'm doing good.
This is cream cheese, I bet. The way he's
That second one was
stacked.
spicy.
The second one is fucking hot.
This is a libation.
Oh, it's a drink.
to cleanse your palate.
I do love a beveragino. Thank goodness, because it's spicy up in this mug.
Okay, don't
I'm
drink
gonna have
it yet.
shits later. I've not had this
Wait,
much processed
don't move your hands.
Don't.
All right,
I'm
guys.
gonna just do this.
So today we're going to do Coca-Cola and HEB original cola.
I'm gonna know
Okay?
this.
Mine.
So
Are they cold?
Here you go. Yes, I put them in the freezer.
Beautiful.
Here you go.
That's HEB. That's HEB.
Is it?
Yeah. Where's the other
Yes,
one?
it is.
That's
It's
HEB.
HEB.
That's HEB.
Okay. Here you go,
That
lady.
tastes like
Absolutely
a-
HEB.
Kinda
It
tastes
doesn't
like
even
an
taste like a
ashtray.
Coke. It's just like,
Tastes like a-
it's carbonation.
An ashtray.
How do you know what an ashtray tastes like?
That's Coke. 2 is Coke. 1 is HEB. Because I failed at the soda last time, so.
You failed again. Just kidding.
But number 1 smells like Coke.
Number 1 smells like Coke.
Shit. Hold on.
Oh, shit.
Wait a minute.
So guys, question for you.
Shoot.
What are some of the things that that are like a deal breaker? You would not try off-brand whatsoever.
Cream cheese.
Paige said cream
Mayonnaise.
cheese. She said mayonnaise. Me, I don't know. There's a couple of things that, I've tried the off-brand and you just can't replace it with, right? But then there's some things that I'm like, they taste the same and they're cheaper.
I think the
That's a
first
win.
one was Coke and the second one was HEB.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with too. Only because the first one
The
literally
smell.
smells like a Coke.
Yeah, the smell is Coke.
Yep.
And the second one doesn't give me that. They taste the exact same.
Yeah.
But
number
it might
one
just
is-
because my mouth is really spicy. Can
Me
I have
too.
some more?
Y'all
No,
want some more?
I'm gonna go based on the smell, and number 1 was Coke.
Give me a little splash of number 1.
1 is Coke, 2 is
decide.
HEB. Final
Okay,
answer.
this is number 1.
I don't know if that's right. You should have had Ben try it. See if he could guess it. They taste pretty similar
Number
though, you
one's
guys. One's
The
Coke based
smell?
on the smell, yeah.
The smell alone.
They taste the same.
It's
to me.
Coke.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all can take off. That's fine.
My eyelashes are sticking
Mine
together.
too. Oh my god, my eyes make us running.
Okay. You ready?
What was number 1?
Y'all both failed.
Number 1 was
Number
HEB.
1 was HEB
This
Cola.
It
Like
smells
Coke.
just like Coke.
Number
Smell it.
2 was Coca-Cola.
That's crazy.
So
They
when I
taste
first drank it, that's what I thought, but the smell got me.
So it's interesting because I do Coke Zero, and I have tried their Coke Zero and regular Coke Zero, and I have not been able to tell the difference. I feel like in
can't.
this one you
No,
can taste a
I
little
can't
bit.
either.
No, I
but with
can't.
the HEB, the Coke Zero, I absolutely
Where'd you
love
put your
it.
cheese?
I don't know.
She gave it to me.
I'll give it in.
But
I was like, I don't know.
That was fun, Jay.
Yeah, that was
I
fun.
know.
So buy not name brand stuff.
Yeah, literally.
No, if you would have given me mayonnaise, I would have known.
We need to try mayonnaise now. Mayonnaise is a huge thing. I am a Hellman's type of guy. But people were saying it was Duke's, and I tried Duke's and absolutely not.
I'm the
But
same.
someone said Blue Plate, and in Lubbock they didn't sell Blue Plate, and now here in Dallas they do sell Blue Plate, so I bought some and we're gonna try it. But
I don't like that.
are you a brand whore like Kyler, or are you a save a money type of girl?
I'm a Costco girl.
And mine really
Whatever's
genuinely
there.
depends. Yeah, it's like whatever's bulk. And most of the time I would reach for brand soda over non. So I'm kind of surprised. And I think
Yeah.
that's just because like
I would
Dr.
too.
Pibb is not Dr. Pepper. And that was the off brand whenever I was a kid. Yeah, Mr. Pibb,
Yeah,
that
Mr.
was it. Mr. Pibb was
I'm
not Dr. Pepper.
50-50, if I'm being quite
Yeah, I
honest.
feel like I'm
with you.
50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just kind of depends. I think there's some stuff that you can substitute, and sometimes you cannot.
I love Kirkland brand.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, ladies.
That was
What
so
a
fun.
day.
I know.
My teeth are full of cheese and Cheetos.
Same.
But it was a good time.
It was a
We'll be
great
back
time.
for more.
Yes, guys. Keep those giggles going.
And the love flowing.
And until next time,
Mom knows best.
or at least,
She's trying her best.
bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.